Where do you start? Where do you start doing operational analysis of where things are breaking down? I just had a potential client call me up and say, hey, Stephen, I want to evaluate what's going on with our sales staff when they're talking to our customers. I said, well, okay, what sort of business is it? He said, it's more of a B2B type business. I said, okay, great. How do they know who they're going to talk to? And he traced me back in the process. And the process starts with either a social media post or a direct outreach by their head office. I said, okay, that's interesting. What happens from there? And he explained the process, which is a very typical sales funnel. Two sources, leads come in, they get qualified. After they get qualified, they get farmed out to different people around the country for different business units. And from there, that person does a certain thing, makes an appointment, and has the talk with the customer, hoping to sign them up. Very, very straightforward. He was trying to solve this little bit right at the end. And I suggested to him that rather starting at the end, we should start at the beginning. And he said, what do you mean by that? So I asked him, where's the beginning of your sales process? He said, well, it's the top of the funnel. So I said, why don't we start from there? Because here's what can happen. The lead goes in the sales funnel, or someone clicks on a lead, on an ad or something like that, and it doesn't go anywhere. So that's the first problem. You won't know this in your CRM necessarily. Even if they get through that gate, then it goes through the filtering system or the qualification. That qualification process, it might be dumping out people that shouldn't be dumping out. So there's another issue, which is CRM won't pick up. If they get qualified, then they get farmed out. So once they get farmed out, they're either going to go to the wrong person sometimes, or they might even go to the wrong business unit. So again, you might have a problem. Then you think, okay, now I'm home and hosed. It's gone to the right person to talk to the customer. Well, no, not necessarily. Because what can happen here is that the salesperson might just be super busy. So they don't actually make contact with the customer. So then the customer's left with nothing and they just disappear. Or they make contact and they send them a crappy email with no capital letters, the old logo, and all sorts of rubbish going on in it. That could also be happening. And again, your CRM won't pick this up. So then let's say even that all works perfectly well and beautifully. The salesperson talks to the customer and makes an appointment. Well, firstly, did they actually talk to the customer? They might send the email, but maybe they don't contact them to make the appointment. So it could fall over there as well. Once you've got to that point, so the salesperson trying to make an appointment with the customer, even if you get past that point, it might be that they get to the sales meeting, which is usually on Teams these days for these national programs, and the salesperson just ghosts the customer. They just don't call them for whatever reason. They're too busy. They don't think the customer's going to buy because they think in their own head it's not going to happen, or they just forget, whatever reason it is. Now, in the CRM along the way, you're going to get little messages like, oh, customer ghosted me, wrong number, customer never called me back, called them free, whatever it is. There's going to be a whole lot of excuses in there that the CRM won't pick up. It also won't pick up the really poor language in an email or really difficulty in trying to arrange an appointment. All of these things are factors that lead to you losing the business. So to diagnose and say, hey, diagnose for me, Stephen, what's going on in this end point is not actually the question they should be asking. They should be asking, saying, well, I've got a problem here. Where do you think that problem could be manifesting? And that's where we work backwards. So what we'll do is we'll start from the beginning. What's happening at each of those process points in the process? So we'll send a mystery shopper out. We'll get them online, make the appointment try to do something online. Does it actually respond? Do you get to the next step? Once you get to that step, are you getting through the next step and the next step and the next step? Are you getting through all these gates so you can finally talk to someone? That's how you diagnose an operational process, not by going to the end where you think you've got a problem and where, shouldn't say this, but a lot of trainers encourage them to do the mystery shopping. They say, we've written this whole process, assuming it all works. Then they say, we've got to work with the sales staff so that they know what they're doing and let's test that they understood the training and all the rest of it. Fine, but there are some other things you need to do that are much more simple and also a lot cheaper to do rather than doing this complex stuff at the end. I'm Stephen DiPietro. That's why I do mystery shopping.